May you live to be so old that your driving terrifies people. It's Saturday, I'm Akorn. Welcome back to Gen X and Millennial Memes, because we really need to return to the 80s. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe, and let's jump into today's show, starting with this week's pop quiz. What 1980s arcade game featured a character who hopped on pyramid-shaped blocks while avoiding enemies? If you think you know, drop it down in the comments, and stay tuned because we'll have the answer later on in the show. Pink Floyd fans when the vocals come in after 8 minutes and 42 seconds. How many of you guys remember these Cocoa Puff spoons? I'm not arguing with no one born after 2000. Y'all can't even write in cursive. Write in cursive? Heck, I have a news article that's gonna be in tomorrow's show about how these schools are graduating kids out of high school, and yet they can't even hardly read. How's your 2026 so far? Yeah, pretty much. My theory is every Gen X person read a Stephen King book way too young, and that's why they are the way they are. Well, you're probably not wrong. That may be part of the reason. Me at 10 years old discovering magic eye books for the first time, so that all the other kids could leave a handprint on your shirt. I actually don't remember these. I know for certain that I never had one, and I'm not sure if I remember anyone at school that had one. A Brazilian prisoner dug a tunnel for 5 years, and after finishing, he found himself in a guard room. Maybe he watched Shawshank Redemption too many times. Actually, maybe he didn't watch it enough. This was everything we needed at one point in our lives. The craziest part about the movie Grease is that they wanted us to believe this guy was in high school. It wasn't just him, it was half the cast. Photographic evidence of why our generation is tougher than yours. Yep, it is true. Now, many people would look at this and say, they forgot Gen X again. But if you want to know the truth, we're tired of fixing everyone else's stuff. Shoulder pads of the 80s. That might be where they got it from. How many of you guys have ever seen what became known as the Chevy Longfoot truck? Guys would chop and extend the frame and the bed out to around 12 feet usually, which meant that you could literally haul a whole stack of plywood and still have about 4 feet of bed space to haul tools or whatever else you need. Teacher, use I in a sentence. Me, I is. No, you should say I am, not I is. I am the 9th letter of the English alphabet. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood premiered 58 years ago. I think it was on last week's show when I asked if you guys remembered McDonald's McPizza, which I certainly didn't remember, but some of you guys did. And here is one of the original commercials that McDonald's aired for the McPizza featuring Howie Mandel.
Right now at McDonald's, we've got a surprise. You can get a personal-sized pepperoni pizza for just 99 cents. That's right, a personal-sized pepperoni pizza for just 99 cents with the purchase of any soft drink. But you better hurry, because after April 4th, this deal's gone.
Only 99 cents. This is a great offer. Didn't know I knew magic, did you? Hands are quicker than the eye.
At McDonald's today.
See?
How many of you guys remember the Jolly Rancher cinnamon fire sticks? Those were pretty good. People in the 80s. In the future, everyone will have flying cars. 2026. Social media content associated with your account has been identified as potentially offensive and may violate platform policies. Driving functionality for this vehicle has been temporarily restricted. Just around the corner. If you were lucky enough to get this as a kid, you were basically royalty in the neighborhood. There was someone that I knew that had one of these, but I can't remember who it was. If you know what this dance is, you're an original. The new Lego Back to the Future DeLorean set has been revealed. You know, it's kinda odd how much Back to the Future stuff has been coming out recently. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they don't do a reboot or another sequel. I honestly hope not, because I'm sure that today's Hollywood would just absolutely ruin it. Can you believe this guy turns 40 this year? Here's something I didn't know about Teddy Ruxpin until I was reading an article last week. Thom Fountain, who was the guy that did the original puppeteering for Teddy Ruxpin, controlling his eyes and mouth to be in line with the voice actor recording Teddy's lines. Well, Fountain also did the puppeteering work for Chucky in Child's Play 3. Bye-bye 2026. Hello 1980. If only it were possible. When someone asks why the 80s was so special, I show them this. This also pretty much sums up the direction that society has taken as well. Point of view. It's 1989 and your mom needed a side dish with dinner. Hey, you could have beef Manhattan. I'm sure most all of my viewers will get this one. The Council of Dads deciding to purposely mispronounce things that their kids enjoy. Kids today will never understand that the whole world used to smell like cigarettes. My generation had to parallel park land yachts to get a license. That is a fact check true. Back in a time when there was plenty of room to work around the engine, and you also had plenty of trunk space too. Nintendo sues the US government. There's a sentence I never expected to say. Okay guys, let's have a serious talk. In the song, We Are the Champions by Queen, what is the last 3 words of the song? Pause the video now and drop your answer down in the comments. Got your answer down? Okay. Now most of us probably said, of the world, right? Well, not anymore. Today, they now claim that the studio recordings never had that line. Instead, they say that he ended the song with, "'Cause we are the champions," and then the song just faded out. But it's also claimed that the only time that he ever ended the song with "of the world" was in a live performance. So, do you guys remember when you heard the song on the radio or the album, did it end with "We Are the Champions" and the music fade out? Or did it continue with "of the world"? If you remember it ending with "of the world", cast your vote now by hitting that like button. March the 10th was Mario Day. I'm several days late on this one. I should have had it on last week's show. Grandma told you to shut up when these came on. Back when Americans would pay to mail videotapes to ABC for just a hope of seeing it on TV. I only ever knew of America's Funniest Videos with Bob Saget as the host. But I googled to see when the last season aired, and I was surprised to find that apparently there is still some version of the show airing today. And there's been multiple different hosts and etc. through the years. Now, most of you've probably seen all those, but I haven't had a regular TV, like cable or satellite or whatever, for almost 20 years now. I do have satellite internet because that's the only thing that actually works out here in the middle of nowhere and cattle country. It's expensive enough, so I watch what I want to online, because today's TV certainly isn't worth another bill. Mel Gibson and Joe Pesci hilariously recreated the iconic Lethal Weapon pose on the film's anniversary, celebrating the classic that first premiered on March 6, 1987. It even looks like that might be the same jacket that he wore back then. What is a movie you hate, but everyone else loves? I can almost hear the hate on this one already. First, I want to say that Robert Duvall was a good actor, and I like a lot of his movies. But I'm sorry, I don't care how many awards it won, but Lonesome Dove is not nearly as good as people hype it up to be. I certainly have no reason to watch it again. Today's pop quiz question was, what 1980s arcade game featured a character who hopped on pyramid-shaped blocks while avoiding enemies? The answer is Q*bert, 1982. Top total nonsense Gen Xers learned as kids. Going outside with wet hair causes colds. I tell you what, if you don't believe that one, try it today. Acid rain may appear at any time. Gene Simmons had a cow's tongue sewn to his real tongue. I don't think I ever heard that one before, that I can remember at least. Chewing gum stays in your stomach for 7 years. You heard that everywhere. Our blood is blue until it hits the air. Bubble Yum gum contains spider eggs. That's another one I never remember hearing. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. I always heard about that one because I've cracked my knuckles most of my life. You only use 10% of your brain. It's a lot more than you're using today. If you drop a penny off the Empire State Building, it could unalive someone. Well, I'm honestly not sure about this one. I'm sure somebody could do some calculations, but if it has enough mass, and obviously it would certainly reach terminal velocity, I could definitely see it being possible. The only question I would have is, does a penny actually have enough mass to do that kind of damage, even from terminal velocity? Touching a toad gives you warts. Pop rocks and soda will make your stomach explode. Yeah, that just gave parents a good reason why you can't have both. You gotta pick one or the other. Driving with interior lights on is illegal. If you swallow a watermelon seed, one will grow in your stomach. If you cut an earthworm in half, both halves live. Now, to be honest, I think this one may actually be true, or at least in some instances maybe. I specifically remember one time that I was planting something, and while I was digging, I cut a nightcrawler in half with a shovel. Well, not really in half. One part was about 3/4 of the whole nightcrawler, and the other part was only about 3/4 of an inch. In any case, sometime later, might have been a couple weeks or whatever, I was digging again in the same place, and I found that little piece of that nightcrawler, and it was still alive and had healed over, and it appeared to be making new segments or whatever. Maybe nightcrawlers are a little bit different than redworms? I don't know. All I know is what I saw. 1 year clean, and then I ran into my dealer at Publix. That's the worst kind. I actually just saw a news video earlier today where a Girl Scout troop had set up their booth selling their Girl Scout cookies outside of a dispensary. I thought that was pretty smart. Chuck Norris is 86. 3 times I played the T-1000 after Terminator 2.
Yes, officer. Is there something wrong?
Have you seen this boy?
Jack! Did you see that?
Say, nice shoes.
I knew about this first one. I believe that I had it on a past show, but the other two I haven't seen before, or at least I don't remember seeing them before. If Monday was a sound, this would be it. We can all quit. This guy found the stick of all sticks. That's more than any stick. That's a super weapon. Farting in one of these at the bank and sending it back. You know there's people that's done this. The roof of my mouth when it sees me pouring my third bowl of Captain Crunch. One era was legendary, the other was overrated. How many of these guys are still alive? Hulk just passed away, about 6 or 7 months ago? And a good number of the rest of them have been gone for a while now. You never opened this and found butter. They sold these pre-filled with leftovers. Fact check true. I miss the days when the internet felt brand new and kind of magical. I miss the days when the internet was only in one corner of the house, just like this here. A young Kid Rock looked like he was about to have a rap battle with Vanilla Ice at the mall food court. The last carbureted vehicle America ever sold. I wouldn't have guessed that it was just a 94 Isuzu. I would have at least thought it had been Chevy or Ford, maybe even Dodge. The adult version of head, shoulders, knees, and toes is wallet, glasses, keys, and phone. Mom said to share, so we decided Stretch Armstrong would suffer instead. Well, it's one way. He survived the wet bandits, but not the grocery bill, especially these days. Who I thought I'd be when I grew up. Who I actually am. Never forget where you came from. Well, these days, it's the only thing that I have found that actually helps my migraine headaches and insomnia. We'd leave the house for 14 hours, return dirty, bruised, and sunburnt, and our parents were just like, "Did you have fun?" Yeah, as long as we got home before the streetlights came on. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the show, because it really helps to support the channel, as well as hitting that like, subscribe, and dropping a comment. I'd like to thank all of my channel members, super thanks, buy me a coffee, those ordering merch, and all of my subscribers and viewers for your support. Because this program is only made possible by viewers like you. Channel links, series playlist, and more can all be found down below in the video description. That's it for today's show, but I'll see you all back here on tomorrow's show. Until then, I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe out here this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.
Hello, I'm Throwback. Oh.